All right, hi guys, welcome to. Yes.
2 for 3.
Yep.
Oh man.
Media Reload's Digital Playground, E3 edition.
Yeah.
Hooray.
So E3 is the Electronics Entertainment Expo in Las Vegas,
LA, actually.
In
It's
LA.
It's LA Convention Center.
at the LA Convention Center. It's one of the bigger. I don't even know that it's the biggest video game convention of the year, but it's the biggest American one.
It's hands down, but
Definitely.
yeah, hands down the biggest American, and then other than maybe like Tokyo Game Show, and then God, there's one more in Europe.
BlizzardCon.
That's not anywhere near as big. But there's one more in Europe, and I forget.
Yeah.
It'll come to me.
So, anyways, it's the Electronic Entertainment Expo. I guess I've always feel like because I interact with
Gamescom.
gaming culture more than I interact with actual games, that the San Diego Comic Con always stands a little bit, and the Penny Arcade Expo.
Yeah. PAX,
Because
yeah.
that's where video game companies go for like brand awareness rather than to like tech demos and things like that.
Sure.
So, anyways, that's an aside.
and it's more for indies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's an aside I didn't really mean to get in. Yeah, there's a lot of like homemade arcades there and stuff.
right.
And professional Street Fighter players, which I like.
Yeah.
So anyways, the theme in the room or the mood that we have here is that Microsoft kind of fumbled this one and that Sony hit it out of the park. If we decide to talk about Nintendo, it's going to be at a later date. Nintendo's historically not really cared about E3 that much.
Yeah.
They'll bring what they have and not really care.
It's kind of their attitude on everything.
Everything.
Yeah, but this has very much become a battleground for Microsoft and Sony over the years, and
They've taken jabs at each other with ads
Yeah.
and different things. Yeah, it's very much like Titan versus Titan here.
yeah. So, Jimmy, give me a couple quick thoughts
Yeah.
about exactly what Microsoft did that was meh. Like, actually, give us an info first, and then
Okay.
tell me why it wasn't that
I
great.
think what they did that was meh was unfortunately nothing. They came out and that, Scorpio, that's going to be really cool, but
Which is their new console.
right, the new console. But it's just like it's more of an idea right now than a physical like
Thing.
here it
Yeah,
is.
sure.
And concepts are great, but it's hard to sell an audience on a concept when you could have shown them.
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now they're in the process where they can't really show that, right? Because
Right.
they haven't designed the box yet. It's not coming out till 2017 holiday
Exactly.
time. So
Okay.
they actually haven't physically
Sure.
designed it. They showed a couple of the internal components and they mentioned some stats about how it does 6 teraflops and nobody knows what the hell a teraflop is, but it
Right.
does 6 of them.
And that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
just like
so
you're speaking to me, but what are you
ex-
saying?
Yeah. So basically, what the Scorpio is that it's an Xbox One,
Right.
but it will play Xbox One games in VR
Right. Which is awesome.
and 4K
Yep.
at 60 frames per second, maybe 4K 60 frames, definitely 1080p 60 frames. So it's that, and people are excited about that. It's
Sure.
a very niche market, right? 'Cause
Definitely.
you've got to have a 4K TV to even care about it,
Right.
Or a VR headset
Yeah.
to even care about it.
Although Microsoft has been unafraid in targeting niche markets like the high-end
Correct.
gaming markets.
Correct. Yeah, and
in the
I mean,
past.
they have the Xbox Elite controller. You
Right.
you
Yeah.
pay $150 for just a controller.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have the Xbox One Elite, which comes with a hybrid solid state drive /
Yeah.
hard. So they have those markets, and that's who this is for. This
Yeah.
is for
Definitely.
the 35-year-old dad who has the expendable cash. This is for the rich kids, who have,
Yeah.
So
This is not for the 20-something gamers that Sony seems to pretty much have cornered the market on.
Correct. So Scorpio is going to be great, and I do like the fact that they haven't come out and said that it's going to require Oculus for VR,
Yeah,
because
that's
they have partnered with Oculus, right? Microsoft has.
Okay.
But they announced Fallout 4, which is going to be in VR only on the HTC Vive, will be playable in VR on their Scorpio.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
So they might not be limiting which headset you have to use with the Xbox Scorpio.
Which would be awesome.
Which would drive down the prices of their peripherals because they'd have third parties competing for them.
Right, exactly. So, and that doesn't sound like they're releasing their own VR headset like Sony did,
Okay.
which is great because their whole theme
Yeah.
for the whole show was gaming or something without boundaries.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, and that's what. So they released. So the couple things that they did that weren't met that were actually pretty cool. Were they're adding some features to the Xbox One that are like I said, pretty cool. So they've got You can go out and you can buy
Play
a
anywhere.
game. Play anywhere.
I think is what
yeah,
it was.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, where you purchase a game online and
Yep.
then sign in on someone's.
No. So where you purchase
Oh,
a game
that's
on
super cool.
Xbox One, and if you purchase it digitally, you then get the PC version of that game as well. So,
Oh, okay.
It's like a DVD Blu-ray combo pack.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
exactly. So,
Yep.
so you're getting both versions, which is cool. And they're saying so you can say, you're playing on your Xbox One. Let's say you want to go, on a trip or whatever. You have a gaming laptop.
Yeah.
You can pick right up where you left off. at
Super
home.
good for Call of Duty players and things like that.
It's super good for anyone who has a gaming PC
Right.
and an Xbox One. That's that market. It's
Of
not
which
for
there is some
everybody.
overlap.
Yeah.
Oh,
so-
definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm one of those people. So I love that feature. They're doing a bunch of different things with the community stuff now, right? So you can do LFG on your console now. What LFG is looking for group. So games that don't really have a matchmaking, like Destiny, Minecraft, different things like that. Now you can actually
can
go.
flag yourself
you can-
as open.
Yeah, exactly, and get people that are on Xbox Live looking for similar things. You can kind of do that in Minecraft. I don't play it, but from what I've been told, you can do that kind of and just open up your world in Minecraft. But you can't like say, I want to build this specific thing. Are you doing that too? Let's play together. You can't
Okay.
do that. Now you can, or you'll be able to.
Which is really cool.
There's Xbox communities now, so you can, if you're playing Destiny, you can find other players that are playing Destiny, hook up with them in this community, chat with them, whatever. That you can do that kind of in game if you do the LFG on a website, but you can't just do that on your dashboard. So it's becoming more, uniting gamers together
Community integrated.
online. Exactly. So that's kind of those are neat features that are coming to the Xbox One.
Okay.
But that was that, Scorpio, and maybe Rare's new pirate game were the only cool things in their conference.
Okay,
Well,
and
the
this is from a presentation that is traditionally 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
That is kind of the state of the console declaration for them, at least into Christmas, for these companies, at least into Christmas,
Right.
and then projected as far out as 2 years, 18 months to 2 years.
Yeah. So and that they did that, and the overwhelming feeling that I got was everything cool that you're announcing, besides Xbox One S and these new community features, everything is 2017.
Yep.
Nothing
Okay.
is holiday.
So 2016 looks to be a very
bleak.
bump in the road
Yeah.
holiday for the Xbox family.
Yep.
There, and Jimmy, I know you had a little mini rant to go
It's a
on
little mini rant.
regarding your Microsoft fandom that you may renounce.
Yeah, well, I mean, back in 2000, when you had to make that choice, what do I want, an Xbox or PS2?
Yeah.
Right.
I went with the Xbox. At the time, I felt like it was the correct choice.
You were wrong.
That's what most people tell me, but I liked it. I
Okay.
liked my
Yeah.
Xbox, and I moved on to the 360 because the games were
Sure.
cross-compatible.
Yeah.
And then after my 360, I moved on to the Xbox One.
Right.
With the hope that eventually the games would be cross-compatible.
They
and
are.
Some of them.
Yeah. Not all, but some.
But-
a lot.
right.
A lot of good ones.
The ones that you would want
Right.
mostly at this point are, but they weren't right away and
Right,
stuff
sure.
like that. And it comes down to something almost fairly simple, but it's been bugging me for years. I want to play a baseball game.
And
And in
while-
order to do that, I have to own a
yeah,
PlayStation.
fine baseball games were available on the Xbox.
Absolutely.
Through 2012,
I believe
2013.
2K13 was
Okay.
the last one.
But probably since 06, the undisputed champion of the baseball game has been MLB The Show,
Yep.
which is a PlayStation exclusive.
Yep.
And that's rough because when you're a sports game enthusiast, you
Which
really
I
only
totally am.
and you fall in love with one. That's what
Right.
you want to play. Like my brother won't play any other console's version of Fight Night. It's only the Sony consoles.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because he's a huge Fight Night fan.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
He
the only-
likes the controller layout.
The only console I'll play Final Fantasy on. That's the only console I'll play Metal Gear on. Is a Sony console.
Yeah.
Because I played it on the PS2. That's where I want to play it.
And what's crazy
Yeah.
is the only Sony console I've ever owned is the original PlayStation. And I actually loved it. But I went with the Xbox
Yeah.
over the PS2.
Yeah, and now it really seems that Sony has successfully done what Nintendo never did successfully is convert first-party game appeal into console sales.
Yeah.
Because their first-party games, and I guess technically Grand Theft Auto isn't a console exclusive anymore,
Right.
but they still get it first, don't they?
No.
Not anymore?
Not anymore.
Okay, well,
They might get some content
yeah,
first.
regardless,
Right.
it's
that flip flops. That goes back and forth.
and it's
absolutely.
culturally associated with the Sony consoles. How
absolutely.
about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would argue that like NBA 2K also is, even though it came out even I think it came out on both consoles eventually. Originally.
It comes out on all three. It comes out on PC as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think generally from a video game sales standpoint, which I've been in for a while,
Yeah.
that's generally where people get it.
Yeah, well, and I feel like lots of people that play sports games own PlayStations. I don't know if that's a demographic
the
thing.
whatever reason,
Yeah, maybe it's just where we are located.
Yeah.
But I think that's other than Madden, I would say you're right.
Yeah, and I feel like most pro Madden players I see play on PlayStation consoles or Sony consoles.
yeah, no,
and it's not like I follow the pro Madden
Sure,
circuit.
yeah,
It just like when ESPN shows a
A lot
pro
of
gamer
times it is
playing a lot of the times, and maybe that's product placement. But,
Sure, it could be. So we're talking about these exclusive things that Sony has, right? And that's a great transition, I think, into Sony's conference.
Yeah. So Sony's conference, give us the Reader's Digest.
So when you walk in, or when you click in the live stream on Sony's conference, or if you're there, lucky enough to be there, you're seeing just this really classic setup, right? So you've got a stage. I think they're in an opera house. Like it looks like it. They've got they've got balconies and different things. It's a stage, and it's got a big curtain that comes down, which is awesome. And they've got a big hanging screen there for projecting video game trailers on. And it's a huge contrast to these like really like sharp edges and different things like sets that you have for Xbox and EA and all these different things. So it was a really cool. It stood out already immediately because of that.
And the message Sony was projecting was, we don't need these
Flashy
frills.
things. Yeah, right.
We're letting our product stand on its own, and it's a superior product.
Yeah, and that's exactly what that message was, and it was perfect. And they had this orchestra, which is really awesome. They thanked them many times throughout the show. It was fantastic. But outside of that stuff, aesthetically, they just played trailers, which to me that's what we want to see as gamers. Like, so okay, if you debut a console, whatever, yes, of course we want to see that. Sure. But if they're not,
but we want to know what we're playing on the console.
But we want to know what we're playing, and they have a whole new part of their console coming out in October. The PSVR is confirmed for October 13th, I think. Maybe 16th, whatever. They debuted that release date with a screen with an image and a little bit maybe 30 seconds of talk, and then they just showed games for the PSVR.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
What a novel concept.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's something that's been lacking in this conference for years.
Yep. Yeah.
And Sony itself has fallen victim to that.
They have.
To falling back on gimmicks and tricks.
Yep.
So it feels like it flip flops. Like I think last year Microsoft really focused on games because the year before they didn't, and they got backlash for it, and now they're back to not doing it again this year. And Sony kind of learned from that last year when they didn't do it. So it's kind of a back and forth, a give and take every year with that. But I mean, this year Sony just knocked it out of the park, and I've never seen a conference like that. And I don't have a problem saying that it was the best conference of E3 history.
That's great.
Yeah.
And Jimmy, give me two high moments from the Sony presser.
I mean, the VR stuff was really cool.
Yeah.
Specifically
For me, as a huge fan of the character, you get to be Batman in VR.
Oh, okay. What was it? The new Arkham game?
Yeah.
Okay. What's it called?
It's Batman Arkham. And then it's in VR.
That's awesome.
So who knows exactly what that entails at this point?
And the story could be complete, like baby throw up onto a paper, and you're because of the
doesn't matter.
VR,
I get to be Batman.
Okay.
Don't care.
Yeah.
That's great. And so what was your other moment?
I'm
then?
gonna steal it, Sean. I'm sorry. Crash Bandicoot.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was like, Crash Bandicoot's trending on Twitter right now, and then I was like, oh, okay, I caught up and I saw it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ronnie, who's also potentially switching his allegiance.
Yeah.
I saw that on Facebook, buddy.
Because of Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, so this is Crash Bandicoot's a beloved platformer from PS1, right?
Yeah.
And did he
We'll
transition to PS2?
No. Yeah. So, okay. There were a couple of PS2 games, right? But then Sony kind of sold the first-party rights. I believe is what historically happened of Spyro and Crash.
Okay, which were two like tentpole games for the PS1.
They was kind of their Mario.
It's selling Mario and Luigi almost.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
So Crash is back.
Crash is back, and there were real surprises in the Sony conference, right? And there weren't any in Microsoft's.
Okay.
So they announced this awesome new PS4 Spider-Man game, That's a PS4 exclusive. It's done by Insomniac Games, who makes fantastic games.
Give me some Insomniac games really quick.
Yeah, so they did Sunset Overdrive for the Xbox One, which was a fantastic shooter. They did the original Spyro.
Okay.
And they did, a couple of the Ratchet and Clank games. They've done some really good
Ratchet
stuff.
and Clank were pretty celebrated games. Sunset Overdrive is probably one of, like, you would consider it an art house movie if it was a movie, where it was a critical darling that never really sold up to its potential.
Right, exactly.
Kind of like Mirror's Edge too.
Right.
Where, this game that pushed the technology and did a lot of innovative things that never really got the credit it deserved.
Yeah. So they debuted that. They debuted the new God of War, who's moved on from Greek mythology to Norse mythology, which is awesome.
Which will be really cool.
My brother is like a very large God of War fan, so he will be purchasing his first console in a while.
Yeah.
So
they're doing that.
God
God
of
of War
War.
4. We're not. Is it Kratos again? I don't know. It looks just like Kratos, and he's raising his son.
It could be Brados.
Yeah, it could
Or
be.
Trados, if he's a
Trados.
traitor this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Because it's God of War. It's the Fast and the Furious. Like,
Yeah,
you can
right.
actually probably even more interchangeable than Fast and the Furious. It's James Bond at this point.
Sure.
You can put anyone into the God of War, and the interesting thing will be is there's no God of War in Norse mythology. They're all gods of war.
Right. Which is a great tidbit there, and I'm not sure how they're going to handle all of that, but I'm looking forward to uncovering that.
Things it will be is beautiful and fun.
Exactly. So they opened the show with that. They revealed not Silent Hill. They revealed Resident Evil 7, and they didn't tell you that it's Resident Evil, right? They're just like, here's this VR game that you can play in VR or not VR, and then at the end it's like, boom, it's Resident Evil 7.
How'd it look?
Amazing.
And Resident Evil is a franchise that is pretty comfortable with really pushing what their fans think of as that genre. Like,
Yeah, it didn't look like a Resident Evil game.
yeah, like Resident Evil 4 did not look like a Resident Evil game when
Right,
it debuted
exactly.
either.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most beloved of the franchise.
And they tried to recreate it in 5 and it sucked. So,
Kind of like Rocky.
another game that was like, I think I'm gonna buy this. This trailer looks freaking amazing. Surprised the hell out of me.
Everyone pay attention to this part.
Yeah, so I was like, I cannot believe I want to buy this goddamn game, because it's Call of Duty. So they debut this trailer, right?
That trailer was amazing,
They don't
though.
show you what it is. They just they come into this
Kind of a
trailer.
theme.
Yeah. They come into this trailer, they're showing you all these awesome things that you can do. Now, people who are fans of Call of Duty, of course, picked up on it because the aiming reticles look the same, the way you run look the same.
Sure.
Okay.
But I'm not a fan of Call of Duty.
It
Yeah,
felt
so-
like Mass Effect a little bit. To
Yeah,
me.
so when I'm watching it, I'm
Just
like,
from the-
this looks like Halo. It's not Halo. This is a PlayStation console. This can't be Halo. But this looks like Halo.
Right.
So the story here is that after the stories of Modern Warfare,
Yeah.
the world is just screwed. Right?
Yeah, because they've detonated nukes and stuff.
All
so,
over the
yeah.
place.
Exactly. So
Right.
they've gone to space now, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. And I guess according to you said you were
Yeah.
reading that I guess
There were some people who were in
initially
space first.
Yeah, there are people
Yeah.
who initially went to space, and now the government is coming to space, and the people who went to space were like, no, we're fine,
Yeah.
and are resisting.
Yes.
That
So whose
subjugation,
call
I
are you
guess.
dutying?
Right. Right. Sure.
Right.
I don't know which
I believe
side
you
you're
work
on.
for the government.
Okay.
Kit Harington is the villain.
Yeah.
That's right. I saw that he was the big mocap thing.
But,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, knowing Call of Duty and Infantry Ward, at some point during the game, the guy who's your commanding officer is going to attempt to kill you.
Right.
And you'll start fighting for the resistance.
Sure.
Well, and some of the things that we know from the Call of Duty games, they're gorgeous. They usually have console-defining graphics, movies, sound. They're really
Yeah.
beautiful sounding games.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the art direction is uncharted level.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't say that, but I wouldn't. I'm not going to deny the fact that these games are great in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, they don't do it for me.
Sure, sure. It's another example of just a strong lineup. Call of Duty is a console pushing
Absolutely.
game.
Absolutely
Without a
is.
doubt.
Yeah.
And one of the most popular games in the world.
Yeah. So there were just great overall trailers.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm forgetting some of them. Oh, well, like Days Gone.
Okay.
Days Gone is from the original Siphon Filter developers. I don't know if you guys ever played Siphon Filter.
Siphon Filter was a Metal Gear ripoff at first, and then
Yeah.
became kind of a
Its own
great
thing.
series on its own.
Exactly. It is a post-apocalyptic zombie survival game, open world, and
Okay.
it looks amazing. So you've seen the trailer for World War Z, or at least probably the movie,
Yeah.
even, where there's just the horde that's
Yeah.
coming over a wall, or coming up a wall, or scaling
Yeah.
things or whatever. That's in this game.
Okay.
So
So it's a little bit different take on the
thousands or
Fallout.
hundreds or thousands of zombies on screen at a time, and they're coming for you.
Yeah.
So it's that terrifying thing. So we see you're a bounty hunter in this game.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he's talking about Days Gone and that he remembers the old before all this in the trailer. That kind of cinematic trailer of remembering the girlfriend or the wife or whatever, and then we come to now we're in post-apocalyptic zombie hell.
Yeah. Okay.
And now he's a bounty hunter, and now he is. So they come into this mission where you're trying to find a guy. I don't know if you're trying to kill him, if you're trying to bring him back for a bounty, whatever. Doesn't matter. The point is, this guy ends up failing. I'm not sure if you have to fail or if it's just he failed when
Yeah.
he played. But then he's just surrounded by this horde, and he's just fighting, running up this building and then across this platform, and the entire time he's setting off different traps and different things are happening to where he's weeding out the horde, and then you finally feel like, okay, he's taking care of it. Then he looks down, and there's just hundreds more that are coming, and then the trailer ends. It was actually like they were playing it. It wasn't a trailer. It was actual gameplay.
It was a gameplay demo.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So
that's
it looks really cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Well, guys, why don't you go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. Give us your comments. Talk to us about the conferences, and post your favorite video game trailers from the conference if you happen to watch it, or if you happen to go back and retroactively watch it, because we'd love to generate some discussion.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
If you like this video, please watch our other ones and like and comment on those either. And for the two of these guys, we'll see you next time here at Media Reload's Digital Playground. 75% ain't bad for the day, guys. Okay. Have a good night.